Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan Tim.
I don't want to let the audience forget Jmann in 2020.
Jmann 2020.
Because I'm of age. I should probably just go and just bite the bullet for the sake of argument and go register myself to run for president, to get the publicity, to put the ideas out there, to see what happens.
What political party would you run under?
Independent, and that is the crux of this episode. Because how serious would they take me?
I'm more of a libertarian.
I also vote normally libertarian now, but I'm saying I would run independent.
Well, they probably wouldn't take you too terribly seriously because I don't even think they take libertarians very seriously. Nor do they take socialists very seriously, which is why they rigged their primaries against them. And
yeah, Bernie got fucked by Hillary.
She couldn't even win a rigged election, and she barely didn't even make the primary.
Well, everything about the American two-party political machine, I won't even call it a system. It's a machine. Mm-hmm. It's like artificial intelligence. It learns new and exciting ways to fuck over the populace by keeping itself going with its self-sustaining mentality of, well, let's handicap elections. How can we do that? Well, let's keep the Electoral College going so that the people that are put in place to make sure that the popular vote is upheld and exercised so that we vote with our Electoral College votes to pick the people that the people want. And more importantly, we handicap elections by making it extremely difficult, if not impossible, for upstart parties with kind of quirky, eccentric, new age, inspiring, idea-having candidates to get their feet wet in the election because we don't invite them to the debates. You have to be of a certain caliber of candidate to even get on a debate these days.
Yeah.
So you are not letting the other parties have a say. When's the last time that you can think of that the Democrats and the Republicans said, well, let's get somebody from the Green Party and the Libertarians and the God knows what else. Let's get them out here and see what ideas they have.
That's why Bernie Sanders ran as a Democrat, because he couldn't run as a socialist. He would never get invited to a debate. So in order to get his socialist agenda out, well, I'm going to run as a Democrat, but everyone knows I'm a socialist, even though I own like 4 houses.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling the burn. I wasn't going to vote for him because he just seems like a screwy old man.
He's full of hypocrisy. I can't vote for someone like that.
Well, I do remember that there were some memes on Facebook where there was a Bernie Sanders sign. And somebody took it and ripped it in half. And on the back side of the other half, they left the right. You had a sign, I didn't. So I took half of yours. This is how socialism works.
Yep. But going back, so you're against the Electoral College?
I think it should be straight popular vote. Majority rules. And here's why that is a screwy system still. Because it's time for the government to police itself and start actually representing the people. Two-party politics is a broken system. I've said it I don't even know how many fucking times on this show.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They fight back and forth for power. Oh, in the next election, we're going to do this, and then we're going to win back that. No, it shouldn't come to that.
Or, like, if they win the midterm, they just stalemate and not do anything.
Once upon a time ago, there were 3 or 4 major political parties in this goddamn country. And there should be now. They should force the parties to break up into smaller parties, and then everybody gets invited to the conversation. You can't tell somebody that's got, 2.5 million supporters, oh, well, sorry, you're not one of our Democratic or Republican candidates, so we don't want to invite you to the major televised debate. Fuck it. They get to come to the debate. You're handicapping the people's ability to pick the candidates and end up with the leadership that they want, and more importantly, any leadership that may bring about change to benefit us by keeping the two-party system in play and only going and drawing from the same two wells that have been bone dry for so fucking long that has led to the polar opposite extremism of politics that we have today. And what do most people tend to say? More towards the middle. It's a very popular answer. Maybe because it's a safe answer. Maybe because it's how they really feel. I'm going to give the majority of them the benefit of the doubt and guess the latter. So, if we only have two parties that want to keep the same systems in place, let's say, I don't know, we have a homelessness issue in this country. Holy shit, we do. We have a problem feeding our kids nutritional food in schools, and sometimes the food's better in prison. Holy shit, that's a thing. What if, oh my God, we didn't spend so much money on the military-industrial complex? What if we didn't send all that money to shithole sand countries across the fucking ocean for our military to go there and help them sort their shit out? Because odds are, if we don't sell them the planes or somebody else doesn't sell them the technology to come here, they're not a threat to us. They don't have the means of developing their own nuclear weapon programs for the most part.
No, the military machine, as you say, that's up and down with what's going on around the world.
We don't need to be involved in the Arab Spring.
I'm not going to deny that, but, we were attacked, so we responded. I wish we could respond the way we did, like, in World War II, because that seemed to solve a lot of things.
But nobody wants to admit who the fucking enemies were because they don't want to upset the apple cart by pointing the finger at the Arabs with all their oil money. So they picked a scapegoat like Saddam Hussein when that's not where the majority of the fucking guys came from.
They weren't even looking at the oil people, or they weren't even really looking at Saddam Hussein. They were looking at people who don't even have a political party, who aren't in charge over there. They're a bunch of fucking thugs who are allowed to run around because, the oil people are too busy in their nice gated cities to care.
Yeah, but
it's no different than the Mexican drug lords.
You got to follow the money of where the funding and the planning came from that helped the 9/11 guys pull this shit off.
Well, I'm not 100% sure because I didn't see a detailed thing, but it sounds like a lot of it just came from Osama bin Laden with some help with some others, and they made their money through supposedly construction. But I seen pictures of where a lot of this stuff goes down. There can't be that much money being spent on construction.
It's where the money's being funneled from. The point is that we on American soil have only really been attacked by foreign agents twice that I can recall, 9/11 and Pearl Harbor.
Mm-hmm. No.
So when you get these fucking crackpot old white guys that are Republicans saying, you can't slash the defense budget, the rest of the world will come and take us over. Then, well, maybe you could have a budget and actually spend it on defense instead of sending our people abroad. Why the fuck do we need to be in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Iran, any of those fucking countries? Yeah, 9/11 happened. It sucks. I'm not happy about it, but do we need to go start 2 wars over there? Do we need to get involved in Syria and all those? What the fuck is going on home? It's a cesspool in our borders of stupidity, but we're more worried about fending off the attacks of potential threats abroad that most of them couldn't fucking get here if they tried, unless they're going to go suck Kim Jong-un's dick. Do you get how these two parties only allow each other to come to the table and play cards?
Yeah, I get that.
They're both the dealer. So the citizens of the country lose. That's why we don't get the type of change that is necessary to modernize our healthcare and make it sustainable. The people that have the truly radical ideas are silenced or painted into a corner, or they look for reasons to have a scandal to embarrass them out of the race so that you only have to deal with the Democrats and the Republicans. If the NFL only had 2 fucking teams, would that be worth watching?
No.
Would that be a product?
No, and I get what you say about the 2-party system. I've been the same way. It's like the Libertarians, the Green Party, Independents, they don't get a voice ever.
And then look at how the media is set up. Well, you've got CNN that skews this way, and Fox News and MSNBC. They all have their slant. It's one of 2 slants.
Yeah, I don't really watch CNN or Fox News or any of that shit.
So I'm going to equate the American political machine to a 5-year-old that only ever wants to eat pizza or macaroni and cheese. That is what we get. Just like the South Park episode where we had to choose between a douche and a turd sandwich. When we only get 2 options, we get fucked. Because they're not going to let anybody else get involved because it would stop them from having the power and the influence. It's all about maintaining what they have. None of it has anything to do with representation. If it did, then it wouldn't have taken so long to legalize gay marriage. And we wouldn't still be fucking sitting here chasing our tails on abortion. Like so many states are trying to...
Yeah, individual states could do what they want. Like we said, separation of the power of the state. But
idiotic.
Yeah, federally, it's a done deal. Abortion is legal.
Right, but what did I say about...
no reason to debate it anymore.
What did I say about states' powers?
I can't remember.
All or nothing. This is the law. If you're part of the United States, then it's one law. This is what the Supreme Court ruled. Quit trying to fucking use your right-wing, Jesus-minded influence to try to make it impossible for women to do what they want with their bodies. Like, if you cared so much about
sanctuary cities or states that want to be sanctuary states,
that's fucking stupid as hell. Get with the program.
Would you say it's the same thing, though? The liberal idea, the pushing idea is, we want illegal immigrants here. We welcome them here. We want to give them a driver's license. Well, wouldn't you say, since it's federal crime to be in this country illegally like that, without being documented, without getting visas, wouldn't you say these sanctuary states and cities should pay the same price as, say, anti-abortion state?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a good idea.
If it's all or nothing, then it's got to be equal for both sides.
Right, but then you look at like Colorado with this new gun seizure law that they came up with. Have you heard about that one?
I've followed a little bit.
You get red flagged, they take your guns, and there's a bunch of sheriffs like, I'm not doing it, you can lock me up. So now they're going to be sanctuary counties for gun owners.
Yeah.
I can
actually agree with.
Our country is eating itself alive. There's no united. We're just the states of America. One could argue, like I said in a previous episode, why the fuck are we even a country? Why aren't we just 50 countries?
Well, no. I remember bits and pieces of that episode that we did, and it's hard to go one way or the other. You want the states to have their individuality, but at the same time, it kind of goes against what suppose this federal thing is.
But look at what we got out of our last election. Like you said, Bernie had to run Democrat just to be on the bill because they never would have taken him serious as a socialist. Now, I know in the past that Trump has been a Democrat.
Yeah, he was. I always thought he was maybe the Trojan horse for the Democrat Party.
And, ironically, to name drop, so did Danny. Way back when.
Who?
Danny. That kid that used to sit in that chair you're sitting in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Danny said the same thing. He's like, I don't know, with Trump, I'm just worried that he's going to get elected and go, I'm a Democrat. Like, it was kind of a joke for him. But Trump happened because he had to run Republican. And everybody's like, fuck the real Republicans. I'm going to vote for this guy because he's crazy. And then you have the crazy people that are like, I like what this guy's saying, even though he's clearly out of his fucking mind. So if Trump would have ran as an independent or any other party's bill, he wouldn't be the fucking president right now.
Well, it'd be the same thing if Hillary ran for an independent or any other party. They wouldn't take her seriously.
We would have gotten stuck with 2 other options. It's always 2 options. Nobody's taken fucking Ralph Nader seriously enough to put him in office, but how many times has he run knowing he's going to lose?
Well, who was it back when we were teenagers?
The Green Party.
Ross Perot.
Yeah, Ross fucking Perot.
He ran a couple of times, didn't he?
Yeah. He was a quirky individual.
Yeah, and Ralph Nader, I haven't heard that name in a long time, but yeah, I do remember him running for a lot.
I remember the presidential election when I was in high school, and there were kids that were 18 and could vote, and oddly enough, for taking it back to French class again, this guy and this girl both said they voted for Ralph Nader, because they're like, I'm sick of these options that we get.
It's like when I voted, the first time I voted for Jesse Zabadi Ventura for Minnesota governor.
I would have, if I would have been of age.
Because at that point, I was neither Republican or Democrat. I'm still not. I mean, I might lean, in some political ways more towards the right than I do towards the left, but, I mean, I still consider myself an independent because I'm wholly almost right down the middle. Leave me alone, I'll leave you alone.
So going forward in 2020, I mean, you already see the deluge of candidates that there are.
I've seen...
I can't even keep track of them all.
Well...
Some guy named, like, Bootgeig or some shit.
Well, I know there's a shitload
Beto
for
O'Rourke.
Democrats.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything being put up against Republicans, and that's because typically the party in control, runs the same person.
Even though they don't want to.
I'm anxious to see. Well, they could hold a primary, and he could end up losing primary, and he wouldn't be able to run for president in 2020. But that's just something that they have to do. You have to come out with a candidate that's going to present himself better than he does, or however you want to word that. I'm interested to see who's going to go up for Libertarian this time. Last time it was Gary Johnson. I didn't really like his gun control stance, but everything else he had to say I liked. So I was like, well, he needs to get through Congress and everything to get shit done with guns, so chances of that happening are slim. So I was willing to vote for him. But I haven't seen shit for independents or a Green Party or anything else.
Yeah, well, maybe Mitt Romney will run again.
No.
Not for any of those parties.
Just run?
The whole election is already a loss for our nation. Because, as you stated, the Democratic field is so full of candidates now. So many people have thrown their name in the hat that how many of them are going to go, hey, look, if you want our party to maintain control, you got to step aside. Because you're not going to win. Like, how fucking fair is that for one of two major parties to look down at other people that want to come and play and just say, well, if you're running on our ticket, you're going to lose. We're going to pick this person.
That's like, well, when Ventura ran for governor, there was 3 people running for the governor at that point because he was the independent, wasn't he? Or was it the Green Party?
I believe so, yes. He was the independent.
So I remember my social studies teacher telling me after Jesse won, he goes, well, yeah, he won, and it's congratulations to him. But my question is, and this is for all you kids to think about, paraphrasing here, how do you think Jesse feels knowing that 2/3 of the state voted against him?
Let's go back over this. He was the 38th governor of Minnesota from 99 to 03.
I miss my Jesse checks.
Your Jesse checks?
The surplus, he gave it back to the people. Currently in Minnesota, we have a $1.5 billion surplus, and they want to raise all our gas taxes, wheelage taxes, license fees. They want to raise income tax. I saw something on Facebook today. Don't think I believe it. They want to track your phone so they know how much you're driving so they can tax you that way.
Yes.
That sounds like bullshit. Is it actually real?
It sounds like
I've heard this idea
trying to come up with
before.
scurry ways. And Tim Walz can suck my dick because I have put 19,000 and a half miles on my car. If not, I'm about to hit the 20,000 mile mark for driving just for work for the year.
As I was putting to my dad in the facts, is like, you do realize that Walz is a Democrat and this is all they do. Tax the living shit out of you. We have a surplus. Use it.
Right.
Or give it the fuck back.
Fix the fucking roads.
That's what they're saying. Well, we need to fix the roads. We need more money for roads. You have a surplus.
Fix the fucking roads with your surplus.
You have the money.
Here's your facts here. In 98, Ventura ran as a nominee for the Reform Party of Minnesota. He later joined the Independence Party of Minnesota when the Reform Party broke from its association with the Reform Party of the United States.
Okay.
Aggressive grassroots events organized in part by his campaign manager, Doug Friedline, and original television spots designed by quirky ad man, Bill Hilsman. Using the phrase
Jesse action figure.
using the phrase, don't vote for politics as usual. That's what I'm fucking talking about. That's a model.
It worked, too. He was actually a pretty good governor until he went insane after 9/11.
Well, I don't understand why more people aren't out there beating the drum of the, I want to run for president, but I don't feel like I should have to subscribe to the mindset or bow at the altar of either of the two major parties that have fucked this nation up. It's time for everybody that's on the there have to be enough people that are almost in the center from both the Democrats and the Republicans. You take those people that are just left of center and just right of center, and they get together, and they figure out some common ground and band together for a third party. I mean, look at the Republican Party came out of what? The ashes of the Whig Party and something else, if I'm remembering social studies from junior high.
All I know is it kind of got started while Abraham Lincoln was trying to free the slaves, because before then there was no Republican Party, but I could be wrong on that.
The Whig Party was formally organized in 1834, bringing together a loose coalition of groups united in their opposition to what party members viewed as the executive tyranny of King Andrew Jackson. They borrowed the name Whig from the British Party opposed to royal prerogatives.
That sounds like Democrats.
There needs to be more options. You need to let these people speak. You're keeping us stuck in low gear.
Is that a cat or an owl? That's an owl.
That is an owl. It's much more graceful than a donkey or an elephant.
Yeah. Kills at night when you're sleeping.
Well, I don't even want to get involved. Like, this is the first election. Like, I've never not voted. But I can already tell you right now, I'm emotionally checked out from the 2020 presidential election. I did not vote in the
midterm. So,
man, I don't know. That's why I would be brazen enough to actually throw my name in there. Like that kid down in the South, the last election that threw his name in and ran under the name D's Nuts.
Yeah.
Well, he did it to get attention. I'm doing it because I actually fucking care. And yes, no, I'm not a career politician, so maybe I don't have the greatest grasp of how all the back channeling and the jerking each other off.
The career politicians is the problem. Term limits across the whole fucking board, from the guy that runs the school all the way up to the president of the United States. Term limits. You shouldn't be in public office like that for 30 some odd years. To me, that's where the biggest problem is. That's why we keep getting stuck with the two-party system. We get stuck with the same fucking losers every time. Is because there's no new blood in there. And when they do get new blood, it doesn't last around long because they realize this is bullshit. You can't get anything done. These old timers that have been here for 30 fucking years have so many favors owed to them, get everything stopped that they don't want to have happen.
Or then you get the kind of extreme examples of new blood, like our own hometown Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, or
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
You get those.
One is basically seemingly stoking the flames of Islamophobia in this country, even if she's not trying. They're already organizing efforts to get her out of office. Like for the next midterm.
Well,
they're like, all right, let's band together.
How do you feel about her saying, well, on 9/11/2001, some people did some things, and now, there's just like, excuse me? No, not some people did some things.
Right.
We were attacked. Okay, right there. She's showing absolutely no fucking patriotism or anything like that. Okay, and Ocasio-Cortez, I mean, she's getting up there and just like, oh my God, is she that dumb, really?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like
I'm proud that Google's not going to build a $25 million facility and give the people in my district jobs. I'm proud of that because they would have, she acts like she doesn't know how the taxes work. She thinks they would not pay any taxes at all. No, they get a break on taxes for moving. It's an incentive for them to go there. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go set up business? Where the taxes are cheaper? Or do you want to go where the taxes are more expensive? Me, I go for cheaper.
So both of those two people that we just named, and I'm not singling them out as being women, but I am singling them out as being first-term politicians that are they were like the hip new option.
And they're very young, too. That's the other thing. Don't get me wrong. I don't think age has too much to do with it, but clearly 29 and never holding any kind of office isn't working out for AOC.
And now I'm going to make a very bold statement. You can see what's on my screen.
I see it.
Do you know who Ben Shapiro is?
Yeah, heard of him, yeah.
He's an incredibly intelligent man.
I know he's a good debater.
He's an incredibly intelligent man.
Okay.
If you listen to him talk outside of the debates also. And I just think, what does it say his political affiliation is?
Republican Party.
What if there were more than two major parties? I wonder if he would be a Republican. Because remember when we had the Tea Party craze?
Very brief, yeah.
And if suddenly they're whoa, they're getting all the attention. They're making people think we got to fucking squash this shit.
Was that when Obama got in, or was that when the hell was the Tea Party thing?
Well, it's a good thing we got this Professor Google here ready to go for us. Tea Party.
There you go.
Politics. The Tea Party movement is an American fiscally conservative political movement, that's redundant, Within the Republican Party, members of the movement have called for lower taxes and for a reduction of the national debt of the U.S. and federal budget deficit through decreased government spending.
Yeah, we've talked about the national debt, haven't we?
Yeah, so if you don't realize that some of the people that were in this movement were fucking bananas, at face value, you're like, oh, yeah.
Every party has people that are bananas. Doesn't matter which party.
Not everybody can lay claim to a fucking nutcase the level of Michelle Bachmann. And she came from here.
Like I said, every party has it.
I really wish that for the sake of our nation's elections, something fucking happens where you got to bust up the political monopoly, because that's what they really have. Even though they're on opposite sides of the aisle, they both basically do enough to keep themselves as the top dog. So if there was one party that dominated everything all the time, yeah, it'd be a true monopoly. What we're seeing are two empires that are fighting for the right to be a monopoly. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I'm not just like throwing buzzwords. That's just off the top of my head. That's how I just equated it. So, Jmann 2020, I would run independent even if I got 7 fucking votes. I could say, hey, guess what? I ran for president. And I ran for president on a ticket that I'm sick of two-party politics. I'm sick of you not working together. And I'm sick of the fact that you're so busy trying to make sure that you maintain power that you pay little to no attention to actually using that power to do anything beneficial for the rest of the country. And as I'm throwing out their crazy ideas, once again, I'd just like to state, SEAL Team 6 the shit out of Kim Jong-un. And then reunite the Koreas. Because I haven't mentioned that in a while. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan Tim.
And that's the end.